Hi everyone, I can see the numbers going up of people joining as for the launch of pedElle 2022. I will kick off very shortly. I'm just going to wait for that number to get higher because I know there are lots of people coming to join us tonight to find out about what is the world's greatest bike ride with the world's greatest people put on by the world's greatest people and for the world's greatest charities. So what could be better than that? So for those of you who do not know my face or my voice, my name is Sam McClary. I'm the editor of EG and long-time supporter of everything that Club Peloton does, and particular supporter of the very wonderful movement. I'm going to call it a movement that is pedElle. It is so much more than a bike ride. But you have joined us all this evening to find out about 2022's bike ride, and very shortly I'm going to hand over to the very wonderful Meg from Club Peloton, who's going to tell you all the nitty-gritty details about this year's ride. But before I do that, I'm just going to do the quick pitch to you all about why you're here and why tomorrow afternoon you need to get right to the Club Peloton website and sign up for this year's ride. So pedElle, for those of you who don't know, is a ride specifically for women across the built environment. It is a very inclusive ride that brings together women from all different parts of this very wonderful sector to have a little fun, work quite hard on our bicycles, and really sort of connect and support each other, and importantly support some really important charities. It's also something that creates a great deal of friendships across this sector. I know, speaking from personal experience, I have made a lot of very close friends on the ride and never made an enemy, which is unusual for me because I can be quite irritating. So maybe I have got some enemies out there, but they haven't told me, they've been too polite. But tonight, as I say, I'm going to hand over to Meg in a second. But after Meg has presented to you all the joy that is coming your way this summer with this ride, she will pass back to me and we'll do a little bit of a Q&A session with a couple of past riders. There is also, I'm sure everyone is familiar with Zoom by now, an option for you to ask questions. So don't be shy, do put them in the Q&A and we'll get through to as many as we possibly can. We will wrap up at 6:30, so we will do our best to keep to time for that and let you have an evening. But for now, Meg, I'm going to pass over to you.
Thanks very much. I will welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to pedElle. This is the launch for pedElle 2022. As you can see here, this is our wonderful pedellers from 2021. So this is the start of the ride, so all happy faces, not knowing what they're going to expect at all, but all happy faces at the end as well. So I'd like to thank our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to do it without them. So thanks to Knight Frank, Forsters, Avison Young, DP9 and KCA. So they're brilliant to have on board and they'll be bringing us content on and off the bike over the next 6 months. So pedElle 2022 is Vienna to Budapest. So we're going to go to 3 countries in 3 days and see many castles along the way. It is an exceptional route. It is really beautiful and honestly it's quite the experience. So the ride itself is going to be from 22nd till the 26th of June. So you arrive on the 22nd and you'll leave on the 26th and you have your 3 days slotted in between the middle. So that's your travel day, and then you have your 3 riding days: Vienna to Openice, Openice to Bankska, Bankska to Budapest. So you can see the distances and the climbing. Just a little warning, it is less climbing than pedElle 2021, but it's a tiny bit more distance. But you'll see the profiles shortly and it's nothing to worry about. And as long as you set your training in motion, you'll be absolutely fine. So day 1 is Vienna to Openice, so the longest day. So as you can see from the profile at the bottom, it's just going to be an early start, so nothing to worry about. It will be nice and gradual. Again, we all stay in a peloton. We ride as fast as the slowest rider. So for the first 45k to your coffee stop, we'll be going along the Danube, and it is beautiful. So you'll be with everyone and your ride captains, and we're going to end up at the bottom of the Tribeca Mountains in our lovely chateau. We have a private chateau, complete with spa and a private library. So there's plenty of time, hopefully, in the evening for you to explore this chateau and relax in the spa after a very long day. Day 2, Oppenise to Bankska. So this is your climbing day. So it is a lot of climbing. And as you can see, it comes in 3 waves. Your longest climb is about 8 kilometers long, with an average percent of 8%. So 8 kilometers, 8%, so it's fine. But again, going up means that you have time to come down as well. And you've got plenty of views to be appreciating when you are going down. So when we get into the town, we're going to have a late lunch at a brewery. And it's in the town in the picture that you can see. It's very colourful and has loads of cobbles. So an opportunity to explore around there, have your lunch, and if you want, you can ride again because there's plenty of areas to go to. Day 3, Bankska to Budapest. So a little bit of climbing at the start, but then you have a beautiful descent. We'll be joining the Danube again, and then we're going to be coming into the castle district side of Budapest. We'll go around Budapest and then we come into our hotel, which overlooks the castle district. So again, it's really, really quite spectacular, and we're never ever short of views. So it's something to enjoy all the time. If you don't know what a ride is like, we always ride in a peloton, which means that we can go further and faster together. It's safer as well, so you can see it's always 2 abreast, and we'll have a lead car to navigate you. We have motorbikes that go ahead to stop traffic so that we are constantly moving and constantly going, so that the flow is always there. We have people in cars as well, so we have people at the back, so our mechanics and medics, and they're there to be able to communicate with you and help you to keep moving. Within there, we have our ride captains as well. These are our wonderful ride captains, including Sam, from 2021. And so these guys are there to help motivate you, help you get up the hills. And they also always have a walkie-talkie that links you to anyone at the front or anyone at the back, so that we can communicate all the time and let you know, or let staff know, if there's any mechanics or medicals or anything like that that needs help. So these are a few pictures of our medics and mechanics. So they'll be in a van like this at the very back of the peloton. So at any point, if you feel like you're struggling too much or you need any help with your bike or your body, then they're there to help you. And we have space to sit in vans if necessary. So along the way, we also have massage therapists, which are very, very good and utilised a lot. So you should be able to recognise, if you've been on the ride before, Claudia. And she comes on a lot of MIPIN and pedElle rides. And they're there from in the morning till the evening. So the start of the day, they're going to help you with activations to make sure your body's awake before the ride of the day. And at each coffee stop, and at each lunch stop and after dinner, they'll be there to help give you some treatments, just to make sure that you're going to make it through the whole ride. So we do have quite a lot of stops. We make sure that you're fully fed and you're fully hydrated the whole time. So as you can see here, this is kind of what the structure looks like when we have a stop, whether it's a quick stop or a long stop. We get you to hang up your bikes, you take your helmets off, you go and fill up your water bottles, grab some snacks, you have a coffee and cake. And generally it's at least 3 stops per day. So between breakfast, coffee, lunch, coffee and dinner. So you're never going to be without, and there's always opportunities to have a little break. And it's roughly about 50k per section, per stop. So it's not, you're not doing a huge amount of hours all in one go. So obviously that all comes at a cost. So the cost is £1,649, and you can see what's included, which is your flight from London Heathrow to Vienna, transfer into Vienna into Central, your bikes as well. Your bikes will be dropped at Coram Club Peloton office a few days before, and we will take them back for you as well. So you do not need to travel with a bike. You'll have your hotel accommodation for 4 nights, including your breakfast, lunch and dinner throughout the whole ride, and coffee and tea snacks and mechanical backup. What's not included is any sort of insurance, so you will need to sort that out yourself and have that yourself. Your return flight to Budapest to London is not included because generally people take it as an opportunity to have a nice holiday and enjoy the place because you won't have your bike to worry about. So it is a nice opportunity to do that. Mechanical spares, the labour is free, but if you do happen to need a spare, then that will be charged to you separately through our mechanic. And alcohol and soft drinks at lunch and dinner, that's down to you. Club Peloton team. So some of you may know us, some of you may not, but these are the people to come to and to contact. So if you have any queries in regards to anything, then we're here to help and we want to answer your questions. So again, well, leads on from that. If you are new to riding, fear not, because we will provide you with a 12-week training program, and we are passionate about cycling, and so is everyone that joins pedElle, including all our ride captains. And we want to help. If you don't know about the bike or where to even start, then just come to us and we can talk you through it. We can talk you through anything to do with the bike, your kit, your nutrition, and the training plan, and about climbing and how to incorporate that into your general life and training. We're here to be able to talk it through because we love the bike as much as anyone else. So we want to make sure that people are riding as well. So it's not something that you should be afraid of. It's an opportunity to be in such an inclusive environment where we will guide you to get to where you want to be. And obviously it's a fundraising ride. So we aim to raise at least £1,000 per person. And I'm just going to pass over to Nick, my colleague, who's going to be talking you through just about the projects that run. He is next to me, but he's just going to be a voice. So bear with us.
Thanks, Meg. Nick here. Well, yes, we're looking for everyone to raise £1,000, and over the years it's proved eminently possible, so we really hope you feel up to the challenge. Over the last 15 years that Club Peloton's been running, we've given over £4.5 million in grants to support a number of charities and projects over the years, and this has transformed lives, and Club Peloton transforms numerous young lives by supporting a variety of projects in a number of ways. But one of the key ones that we do is that we help recruit families for over 1,000 children who've waited longer than sort of 18 months to find adoptive homes. And they may be children that are born into drug dependency, alcohol dependency, abusive families. Those families themselves that take on these children will need support, and not just short-term support, but long-term support and support for life. And that's very intensive and expensive work. We also work with a number of projects where we help children who've suffered or are recovering from cancer, and they award 800 bikes and adapted trikes to children and their families so that they can either build up muscle strength after their treatment, or ride with their peer groups and not feel excluded while they're going through their cancer treatment. And that in itself lends itself to some further research looking at the relationship between sort of physical and mental well-being and physical activity in children who are surviving cancer. As we all well know, kind of violent street crime is always and ever present in the news. And we support a number of projects, 18 projects, with a charity partner that do some very intensive work with kids that are on the verge of sort of falling through the cracks and ending up on the wrong side. And that takes place in a number of cities throughout the UK. And finally, but by no means least, we assist 27 families who live with MSA. MSA is a degenerative disease, and that too requires a different kind of support for families that know at the end of the journey that they are going to lose somebody. And so there's a lot of kind of supportive work that we can give both the children and the families that are going through that experience together. But anyway, I will hand you back to Meg, who will tell you a little bit more.
Fab. Thank you. So as you can see, like, not only are you getting a beautiful event and ride, you're able to raise it for some incredible charities as well. So registration opens tomorrow at noon, 12. So if you'd like to book on and get your place, then please go to clubpeloton.org to book your place. And deferrals from 2020 and 2021, you will be contacted separately tomorrow morning because there will be a separate ticket for you. So please only use that ticket if your name is on it. So going to go back to Sam for some questions.
Thanks, Meg. Could you pull back up the screen with the distances on just a question in the chat from Amy, just so, and I couldn't remember, so apologies.
No worries. I think it's right at the very start.
Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Forward. There we are. So 190, 105, 155. Beautiful numbers. So beautiful numbers. So I'm going to invite onto, I was going to say onto the stage, but it isn't a stage, is it? It's the screen. Onto the screen with me, the very wonderful Kate Flynn, Helen Cuthbert, and I hope Emma Temple as well. She's there, but she's on mute. Good for all of us, I'd say. Oh no, there we are. Thank you, ladies, for joining for this Q&A. So we, those of you who've been on pedElle before or come to the briefings will know we do a little fairly relaxed Q&A with past riders. Excuse me 1 minute, my dog is eating the cat's food. Which is, so that'll be fun. We do a little Q&A just to get a little bit of feel for what the ride is, and so I thought I'd bring Helen, Kate, and Emma along because they've all got sort of different stories, and mainly I'll wind up Emma in a little bit, which I'm allowed to do because she was my roomie on the last one. But Helen, I want to start with you because you were a new rider last year. I was going to say this year, last year, and it was a big ride in 2021 with some, you know, there looks like some pretty decent hills this year, but nothing quite like we experienced last year. So just really keen to get some thoughts from you and what it was like being a first-time rider and what it was like sort of encountering some of those big, quite hard days.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, very nerve-wracking, to be honest. One of the ride captains, Penny, works with me, and she took me to go and buy a bicycle, which was the first step to going on the ride. And she kept keeping me G'd up on my, to get training. And I think, Sam, I did one ride with you when you introduced me to hill climbing, which was a big shock. But ultimately, the actual event was absolutely fantastic, an amazing experience. And I think, as Megan said, the ability to have the support vehicle there for a new person and a new person to cycling is just so reassuring. And I did use the support vehicle occasionally, but my ambition for this year would be to try and get up the hills without hitching a lift. But yeah, I can't rate it enough. I think it's the most, mind-blowing experience I've had for a while. I'm already feeling nervous about the next ride, but also super excited.
So we at EG, we do a course every year for some people called the Future Leaders, and there is a lesson that I've learned from that, from some trainers, saying that nervousness and excitement are the exact same emotion. You just have a different physical response to it. So just flip it round. Nerves is excitement. So there's nothing to be nervous about. Just get excited, Helen. You'll be absolutely fine as you were this one.
Both driven by adrenaline.
Both driven by adrenaline, which you, Emma, have plenty of. And I was going to come to you last, but I'll come to you now because
no, it's fine.
No, because you've lined it up now. So so we chatted right at the beginning before pedElle, and you won't mind me taking the mic a little bit here, I'm sure. But
what's coming.
We talked about, you know, you can be really fit, and you can have a view of pedElle of, oh, it's a nice bike ride, but it is a nice bike ride, but it's also something special and something quite tough, isn't it?
Yeah. So what do you wanted me to say? In the conversation prior to, I hadn't followed the training plan, but I figured that I was fit enough because I'm quite a keen cyclist. So I sort of bragged, I guess, that I didn't think I would have any trouble. And then I'm the first to admit, and there is a photograph of me walking up the struggle with my rear end pushing the bike. So I fully admit that, and I guess it makes you be honest with yourself. And I wasn't put off, and just got on and carried on, and had a massage at lunchtime, and was raring to go in the afternoon. So I guess the lesson there is, don't be put off by any hiccups, and the fact that perhaps you've got to admit to yourself that you're not quite as good as you might think.
I think.
But at the overall event, though, I mean, I would almost go as far as to say it's almost life-changing. It's such an exhilarating experience, and we were all on such a high for, I think, weeks afterwards, and everything that goes with it, with the group of people that you're in contact with. The WhatsApp group continues throughout the year, just general chit chat, some not constantly, because we're all part of a lot of groups, but there is often, you do pick up snippets, and then obviously with pedElle coming up, there's been a bit more communication. So, and one other thing just to say is I'm based outside of London. I don't know who's on this call or whether there's anybody in the regions, but I am keen to try and draw more attention from the regions. I'm in the northeast, but even perhaps the northwest Manchester area. I know Nicola's in Bristol, I think she's based, but yeah, so don't be put off if you're not London based. You know, that you can have access to the same riding support, and perhaps there could even be some rides leading up to it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Emma. Kate, so you are, I'm going to call you a pedElle veteran now, because I think
2 times.
was 2021 number 3?
No, number two.
Maybe you just look like you've been around for a long time, but this one will be number 3. Tell us why you come back.
So I started in 2019 as a novice. I mean, you can ask Penny, who works with Helen, about my embarrassing episode of trying to get up what I first thought was a hill in Richmond Park. I now realise is a ramp compared to what we've done. I just got the bug after the first one. Just the kind of actually more physical benefits, but also the mental benefits of cycling. I just got absolutely hooked to it. And I just find it such a release from work, from everything, just to get on the bike outside and go. So it really introduced me to something that has, it sounds a bit corny, actually sounds a bit cheesy, doesn't it? It just changed my life actually in terms of my lifestyle. And now I'm a member of a club, mostly with men, but it's all right, they're nice men. Yeah, and I'm really into it. So I love it.
Good. Me too. Let's talk a little bit. I know I've seen some questions coming in, and I think Nick is beavering away answering lots of them, which is really, really great. The best way for us to put the men to work. Let's talk about kits, tips on good kits, and maybe a little bit on what got you through some of the darker times, because we all have them. The darkest time for me, of course, was right at the end of this last year's ride, when I fell off on the gravel track back up to our residence. But there are other dark times. No one else falls off, just me. So give us some tips, Emma. What's your best piece of kit that you would recommend, and what's your go-to food?
You've got to draw my attention back from Emma Goodford's comment. I'm chuckling about it. Is an electric road bike absolutely out of the question?
I don't think it is.
Kit, well, we all have our favourite tops and things, but are we getting a top this year? Especially, yes. Well, obviously we wear those very proudly, particularly when they've got the company name on them as well. But the tops, I think, usually are designed by one of the pedellers. So obviously that's assuming the weather's good, which I'm assuming that it will be when we're abroad. But in the UK, we did have to have certain bits of warmer clothing to put on. So, and of course, the benefit of having the van is that you can carry as much kit and changes of clothing as you like, and you can hide behind the van or a bush or anywhere else and go and get changed. And so that's kit. Comfortable shorts, change of shorts, so probably 3-4 pairs of shorts. And I noticed that a lot of the riders or a lot of the ladies change their tops, which is a very good idea at lunchtime. Obviously, hopefully we'll be blessed with very warm weather.
It keeps us fragrant, doesn't it? And the right kind of fragrance.
Yes, and then I guess if you just wear them for half a day, you could put them back on for the next half day, as long as your roomie doesn't get too close to the sweaty attire. And then nutrition, well, you just eat and eat and eat and eat. As long as you keep fueled, I think you can go on as long as you can. Later on, after pedElle, I did last year a ride from Morecambe to Scarborough, and we ate only about every 10-15 miles. We were literally eating the whole day, and I just felt I could just continue. I did fatigue a little, but it wasn't as much. So fueling is essential.
The joy of riding.
Hydration.
The joy of riding is you can eat cake the entire time. Just to caveat the point on, you can bring as much kit as you like along on the ride. If Penny is on this call, Penny, you cannot bring. If anyone sees Penny's bag, that is not an appropriate amount of kit to bring along as a day bag for the ride. Helen, as the first timer last year, what was your one bit of kit that you were like, oh, thank God I had that?
It's going to sound silly, but it was these sleeve things that you can pull up and pull down that I never knew existed, and somebody recommended I got these sleeves. So when you lead off in the morning, when it's a bit chilly at the first bit of the day, you can pull your sleeves down as soon as you get warm, and then you've got your t-shirt on. So that was a clever little piece of kit. That was my favourite bit.
Sleeve thingies, I like those, also known as arm warmers.
I was about to say, yes, arm warmers.
Sleeve thingies sound good. Kate, for you?
Well, it's not really kit, but it's associated to your kit, associated to your bike. Get a bike fit done. And on my first pedElle, I had on one of the training rides, I again fell off my bike, which was quite a common thing, and managed somehow to snap my saddle in half, very odd. And had to swap a saddle over just before, luckily in enough time to realise that it was possibly the most god-awful, painful saddle known to man. Like I did a test ride before we went out on it, and by the end of it I looked like John Wayne, because it just had a long bit in the middle and it was just unbearably painful. So I'd probably say your saddle and your bike fit, although it's not necessarily kit, but it is your kit that you're taking out.
Well, so. Your bike, is an essential piece of kit that you need. And let's talk quickly.
Can I butt in? Sorry.
Unlike you, Emma, but yes, of course.
If Nicola was on, I know she'd be saying Sudocrem and chafing cream.
Also very
not only Nicola, but it was a bit of a joke last time.
On the essentials list. I know we've only got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to throw one last question out there, and it's about training and the importance of it, and any particular insight that you would give on where and how to do your training. Kate, I'll start with you.
I have it quite easy because I live near the Surrey Hills. So if you want hill practice and in 2019, we did a lot of this. We start off in Richmond Park. So for those that live around London, it's great. We met in Richmond Park, cycle out to Surrey and get practicing on the hills, because that's, as a novice, that is the one thing that I found hard, especially if you haven't done, you know, clip-in shoes before. It was more the mental thing. I kept just panicking and wiping out basically on the most simple of hills. So yeah, hill climbing, Surrey Hills, if you're south.
A really good tip. And I'm one of the world's worst hill climbers, but you know, we all get there at the end of the day, and it doesn't matter how fast or how slow you go. It's just keeping those legs turning and keeping your breathing under control and head up, and we will get there. But practice definitely does make it a teeny tiny bit easier, or just you feel just a bit more comfortable on them. Helen, your training tip and what worked for you?
Yeah, I thought it was important to try and get some back-to-back days. So I was mainly training in Kent, and it's not quite so hilly, so that might have not helped. But to certainly get some lengthy rides and do it again the next day, so that you understand that experience of having, you know, the slightly stiff legs to get going again. So I thought that sort of put me in good stead for the distances.
And the reason you need pseudocreme.
Yeah.
Emma.
Yeah, I just think if you can get access to the group rides, the group training rides, then that really is essential, because to learn how to ride within a peloton and have the confidence to be right behind the person in front so that you get the benefit you really get the benefit when we're actually on the ride. And if you don't do group rides, there'll be constant gaps, I suspect, in the peloton, which if we can all stick together, because people have got the confidence and have done some group riding, then that will make the overall experience better, I think.
Really, really good tip there. So I know I'm going to get told off for going over, but I'm going to, before I hand back to Meg, just to remind us of all when registration opens and where to go to. One word from each of you to sum up what pedElle really means. Emma.
Caught me off guard. I can't think of a word. Sorry,
You've actually silenced her.
First time.
Reputation.
Most supportive, remember, Emma. Kate, you try.
I would say community. There we go.
Good one.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Helen.
Daunting.
No, that's not good. Well, I don't know, just I did come back saying just wow, what an experience. It's just, there's too many things to say about it. It's everything that goes with it. You get, again, it sounds cheesy, but it's everything that you take from your cycling, the confidence you gain and the challenges, you take those into your everyday life. There's too much to say, really. You can't sum it up in one word.
Undescribable, perhaps.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We have Emma did mention that there is a WhatsApp group that we can share the links to if people do want to join that, and there's loads of chat on that, and advice which we are always happy to share. But Meg, I'm going to hand back to you just to remind everyone where they need to go tomorrow and at what time.
Amazing. Thanks very much. Thanks for everyone for answering all the questions and giving your insight. And hopefully it's given everyone an opportunity to understand what it is and what it is like to be a pedElle, and to enjoy the ride and enjoy everyone that's a part of it. So yes, if you would like to book your space, then it's at 12 o'clock tomorrow noon, midday. Apologies, it's been relayed slightly differently as 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It will not be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Midday tomorrow is when it will open, and it is on first come first serve basis. So do sign up as and when you can. And thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you in June, or if not before.
How many places, Megan?
There's 60 places.
60.
Okay, fab.
And Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Look forward to seeing you, and just refresh from 9 o'clock in the morning on tomorrow.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much, Sam.
Thanks.